Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. Hope that you're doing well today. We're speaking to you from our studios on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama. You folks watching us on Facebook this morning. And, of course, yes, it is Lower Alabama we're talking about. And, of course, we're talking about a lot of football action coming our way this weekend. So we're excited about that, as Charles Henderson of Troy goes head-to-head with their county rival, the Pike County High School Bulldogs. That game will be from Bulldog Stadium in Brundage, starting at 7 o'clock this Friday night. Bulldog Stadium in Brundage, Alabama, where those two teams meet every year in a jamboree. The two teams have battled for years, and for bragging rights in Pike County, and of course a win here would give them bragging rights and let both coaches know what to expect for the coming season. This is a great way to get the season started, where you play a whole game, you play it hard and you play it good, and win or lose is just a jamboree or a preseason game. But both coaches will find out a lot about their teams, and it's always been a positive thing. I've seen Pike County lose a game and then win 10 straight, and the same way with Charles Henderson. So it's always a good game. It should be a big crowd at Bulldog Stadium in Brundage, and you better get there early to get a seat. I remember last year there were so many people that came to that game that some of them didn't even get into the stadium until halftime because there wasn't enough boxes open to come into the game. So hopefully Pike County will make sure that they're ready for a big crowd, and it should be a good one. Pike County of Brundage against Charles Henderson High School of Troy as they get the season going. Congratulations to my very good friends over at Pike Liberal Arts. They won their first ball game of the season with a big win over the young man from Selma, Alabama, Morgan Academy. It was a great game that went overtime, and man, I tell you couldn't ask for a better football game than that to start the season, as Pike ends up winning that football game 20-14 over a good, and I really mean a good team from Morgan Academy. So Pike Liberal Arts is off to a good start. It was an official game. Some people were saying it was just a practice game or a jamboree, but no, that was an originally scheduled game, and Pike is now 1-0 on the year and in the region, and Morgan falls to 0-1. Good morning. You're on Today in LA. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Where you calling from?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham, Alabama. How's the weather up there?
It's pretty cloudy. Looks like it's going to rain a little bit, and then the sun's supposed to come out after lunch.
Yeah.
But,
well, there's an 80% chance of rain in Troy today, 80%, and I think we've already gotten probably 60% of it.
yeah, it's been pretty much like this, like for the last week up here. It's been, it seems like a little bit of rain in the mornings, and then the sun comes out, and then a little bit of rain in the afternoon. It hasn't been too bad. It hasn't been a washout.
Of course, a lot going on this week. Of course, Pike Liberal Arts got off to a good start on Friday with a big win over Morgan Academy. Mike, what do you think about that game?
Well, it was a little bit closer than I thought it would be. I thought they'd handle Morgan a little bit better than that, to be honest with you. But
well, Morgan, you could tell Morgan was well coached. There's a lot of good players. It was a super game that came down to where Morgan scored late and went for two and tied it, so put the game into overtime, and in overtime it was quite a game.
Yeah, did you go out there for that one?
Yeah, I did. What I did, I was watching it, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Troy Cable. I watched the first half on television live, and Scott and the gang did a great job, I thought, of putting that game on. And I said to my wife, or your mama, I said, I think I'll ride out there and watch the rest of this game. So I left a little bit before halftime and got up with first people I saw was Laney Kirby and Ken Cox, and spoke to them for a while. Saw all kinds of friends. Then I walked over and sat with John Faircloth, the legendary one, and Ken, his son. They have a John's got a grandson playing for Pike, and it was a real good game. A big crowd, perfect setting, and man, I had some fried chicken out there that was about as good as I've ever eaten. Had a little vinegar in it, Mike.
Fried chicken at the game?
Yes, sir. Fried chicken at the game, and that vinegar that they cooked it with was wonderful. All you Pike Liberal Arts folks know exactly what I'm talking about. That fried chicken is good.
Did they get it from Zaxby's, or they cooked it?
No, I think they cooked it themselves, and I'd like for somebody to call in this morning and tell us what they put in it, but I could tell it had a real vinegar taste, and that was real good, I thought.
I'll tell you what, man, Pike Lib's got it made. He's got the best ribs in probably the southeast.
Yeah, they can just walk across the. Yeah, that's right. No question about it, and of course, a great way to get started for Pike. They had a big crowd, and of course, they played very well. I thought both teams were very well prepared for the game, and I thought they both executed well on defense. There's a Hollis kid, Mike, that plays for Pike that is good, buddy, and he can run. He's a young man that was so good at baseball. Yeah, and Cody Hollis, and man, he is a football player, I'll tell you. And of course, there were several good ones. I thought Jade Sykes, their quarterback, who was also a good baseball player, played very well. It was just Pike looked good, I'm telling you. Looking for the Fever this morning. We're talking about our magazine that comes in every year, and about this time from the Troy Messenger, and we get a look at all these young people. I want to mention a young lady that I've known most all of her life, Madison Halsey, was named new Pike Liberal Arts volleyball coach, so she'll do a great job. Good article about Amy Warwick, the Goshen High School coach who has led Goshen to some
volleyball and softball.
That's right, volleyball and softball, and of course she's still at it and doing a great job. And then of course a good friend of yours, Mike, Justin Cope, is now the head basketball coach at Pike County High School.
Oh, that's great, man. Coach Cope's a great guy, really is.
Yeah,
I worked with him when he was at Charles Henderson Middle School, and super good guy, and he'll be a great asset for Pike County.
No question about it, and of course
he's the head basketball coach.
Well, let's see here. Let me read it right now. Let's see here. It says
I know. Doug Holland's been the coach.
Former Charles Henderson Middle School basketball head coach Justin Cope is heading to Pike County High School. Cope has been involved with Charles Henderson High School and Middle School since his school days. Have mixed feelings, Cope said. It's exciting and at the same time it's sad because I'm leaving the kids at Charles Henderson. It was a great 8 years. I told the students when I left that no matter where I go, I will always be here with them. And of course, Cope will be teaching health at Pike County High School, and it will also have a role in coaching football, basketball, and baseball. So it doesn't say where he's the head coach or not, but he's going in a pretty good group of guys like Fred Holland and Doug Holland, are guys that he knows real well. And
yeah, they lost their baseball coach. Taylor Barnes is no longer at the program. He's at Grissom High School up in Huntsville. He's a pitching coach up there now.
Well, that was a good opportunity for him to take advantage of. Of course, Pike County's got a quarterback, Mike. His name is Jadlin Wilson, and he is ready for Charles Henderson as the Bulldogs were very impressive the other day when I went down.
Pike County is not intimidated by Charles Henderson at all.
Not at all.
They might dress 22 players, but I guarantee you every single one of them are players.
That's right, and they'll be ready, and they always are after Charles Henderson. It should be a great football game to open the season. 7 o'clock kickoff from Bulldog Stadium in Brundage, and I tell you,
that's not an easy place to play a ball game.
Never, and of course they.
Also, not an easy place to call a ball game, and I'm so happy that they got that ladder support now, where you won't fall backwards and lose your life going on top of that press play.
Well, let me tell you this. I told them I was not going up that, and of course I'll leave that up. I'm gonna let Wally and Neil do the.
Trust me, there ain't no way in the world Wally and Neil can go.
No, they don't want to go up there either, and they can, and especially when they can sit right up underneath, and they'll be doing the games. Wally and Neil from Bulldog Stadium. I'll be out of town and be up your way. In fact,
I think Mountain Brook's going to be on the road, so we won't be able to watch the
where are they going to be playing?
I want to say they're playing Tuscaloosa County.
Oh, do they? Okay. Well, I was hoping, but it is definitely a away game.
Yeah, it's a road game. Big news, the AP poll came out yesterday, and Alabama is number 1. But the Troy Trojans' opponent, Boise State, the Broncos, out of Boise, Idaho, are ranked 22nd. So the 22nd ranked team in the country will be playing in the new renovated Memorial Stadium here in less than 2 weeks. So surely we'll sell out if we're playing a ranked Boise State.
I sure hope so. And everybody says the Troy people support their teams. Well, let me tell you this. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And this time, if they can't fill this stadium up for this game,
you ought to be ashamed of yourself so you can't sell out this
game. No question. And of course, both polls, Boise, in the coaches poll, they're ranked 22nd. They were 11-3 a year ago. And also in the AP poll, the Associated Press poll, which is the top poll out there, they have Boise ranked 22nd also with 11-3 last year.
You got Alabama number 1, Clemson number 2, Georgia number 3, Wisconsin number 4, Ohio State. Who knows what's going to happen there? Urban Meyer, they're number 5. Washington, who plays Auburn to start the season, is number 6. Oklahoma lost their quarterback. They're number 7.
What you mean they lost their quarterback?
Baker Mayfield's gone.
Oh yeah, well I knew that. I thought it might be their new quarterback.
Number 8 is Miami. Miami opens the season with LSU. Number 9 is Auburn. That's the highest Auburn's ranked in a long time in the AP poll. Number 10 is Penn State. Number 11 is Michigan State. Number 12 is your favorite school, Notre Dame. Number 13 is Stanford. Number 14 is Michigan. Number 15 is USC. Number 16 is TCU. A lot of people are talking hype about West Virginia. They're number 17. Mississippi State, a lot of people are talking hype about, even though they have a new coach, is 18th. Florida State with new coach Willie Taggart's 19th. Virginia Tech is 20th. They open the season together, so that's 19 and 20.
Yeah, that'll be a good one, yeah.
And then this team that won a national championship, according to them last year, UCF is ranked 21st. Boise is 22nd. Texas is 23rd. Oregon is 24th. And LSU rounds out the AP top 25 at number 25.
Well, that's great. Troy got votes in both polls, and in fact, he got 19 votes in the coaches poll. So Troy, looking at beyond 25, South Carolina, Florida, Oregon, Utah, Northwestern, Texas A&M, College, Kansas State, Florida Atlantic, 27 points, Boston College, Memphis, North Carolina State, Arkansas State, and Troy both got 19 points or votes.
I would say that right now. Basically, Troy's ranked 40th in the country right now, according to AP.
Appalachian State had 16 points there, and of course, in the other poll, they got 2. I think they got 2 votes in the poll. So, there's some people that recognize them, and no question about it. This season is going to be a good one to watch, and of course Alabama again gets 61 out of the 65 votes allowed.
What are you looking at? You looking at the coaches, because it's totally different than AP.
I'm looking at the coaches.
Alabama got 42 and Clemson got 18.
That's right. In the AP, the Associated Press poll, as Mike just mentioned, Alabama got 42 first place votes. Clemson got 18. And Wisconsin, the Cheeseheads, got 1.
Someone's out of their mind putting Wisconsin in there.
Well, let me tell you this. A team that everybody's been...
Alabama and Clemson would beat Wisconsin by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, let's look at it. Let's look at who I think Troy could play with. Everybody looks down this line and everything. Of course, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma, Washington, Wisconsin, Miami, Penn State, Auburn. That's 10 pretty good teams right there. Followed by Notre Dame, Michigan State, Stanford, Michigan, Southern Cal, TCU, Virginia Tech. Troy could always play with Virginia Tech. Mississippi State, I think they could play with Mississippi State. Florida State, West Virginia, Texas, Boise, Central Florida, LSU, and Oklahoma State. Well, we know that they can definitely play with Oklahoma State. Every time we play them, we either beat them or took them to the wire. But those are all pretty good football teams, Mike.
Yeah, LSU being ranked number 25, I mean, a lot of people say Ed Orgeron, this could be his final year. A lot of people are thinking LSU's going to be lucky to get to 7-5, maybe 6-6.
But, I think when they're not expected to do something, they do pretty well.
Well, I tell you what, that'd be a great job to come open at the end of the season. So remember Neil Brown for that job if it comes open.
Of course, Troy had a good scrimmage on Friday afternoon. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Caleb Barker threw 4 touchdown passes and ran for 2 more. So that's a pretty good day, wouldn't you say?
I think Sawyer Smith had a good day as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Both of those guys. And I think Troy's in pretty good shape at the quarterback position. And all the hitting has stopped now. They've had
that's good to see because, you got 2 guys with torn ACL, 2 linebackers out. Other guys have been dinged up. Looks like Troy's in pretty good health as far as we know, don't we?
Yeah, well, looks like it. Alabama lost another linebacker, is that right?
Yeah, they lost Allen, who had been the second-string linebacker and would have had a lot of depth. Of course, Coach Saban had a rant the other day, and, of course, we can't mention those words he said on TV, but he's pretty upset that, the depth is starting to take a beating, and, it's going to hurt on down the road. You can't lose a 4-star and a 5-star linebacker and expect to, not drop off a little bit.
Let me put you on hold a minute. Now, stay there. I'm going to bring you back. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. It's Will Matthews.
Will Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, calling from the Matthews Law Firm. You've been out chasing ambulances and fire trucks all day. Is that right?
I tell you what, I'm not one of those.
I know. Of course, Will, did you have a good weekend?
I did. Had a real good weekend.
You excited about everything?
Well, yeah. Looking forward to football, and I'm gonna be in Washington the first weekend of football, so I'm gonna miss it.
Gosh, well, what are you gonna do in Washington? What you gonna be doing there? Oh, Washington D.C.
Yeah, D.C. I'm gonna go see my grandbaby.
Oh, great. Let me put you on hold. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. All right, we got you on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on.
And Mike's on too. And Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham this morning, and Will Matthews from the friendly confines of Dothan, Alabama. Is that right?
Actually, I'm on the Troy University Highway between Ozark and Dothan.
Okay, I got you. And, of course, Will Matthews calling in. And, Will, everybody was excited about your guy winning the tournament this weekend.
He's a great guy.
Have you ever played with him?
I have.
We talk.
Really nice young man. I'd say he's probably 37, 36, something like that. He's in his 30s.
Talking about Brent
He's had a
Snedeker.
real successful career. He's won 9 times on the tour.
Yeah.
And that might
He's also won the FedEx Championship. He's won $10 million one time.
He had one then.
Yes. And Michael, when he won that, I used to give Vanderbilt $2,500 a year to the golf program. And I did it for several years. But when he won that, he gave $1 million to the Vanderbilt golf program. And guess what? Daddy got out. Brent Snedeker saved me $2,500 a year that I was giving Vandy.
Well, you're a good alumnus. You're a good alumnus.
They don't need my paltry $2,500.
I got you. Of course,
I would assume he's the greatest golfer ever out of Vanderbilt.
Yes, by far, yeah.
Who are some other guys on Vandy's golf team that made the PGA Tour?
Well, there's been
Is
several.
anybody else out there?
Yeah, Luke List is a very good player that's playing out there. Those are the two top ones. Luke List is probably in the top 50 money winners this year.
How much money did Snedeker win?
$1,080,000.
Okay, so that's a pretty nice little payday for him.
Very good.
Talking to Will Matthews, and of course, Will, the season opens up in 2 weeks, not this weekend, but the next weekend, and of course, Alabama has got a pretty tough opener. So does Auburn. How do you feel about those two?
Well, I think Auburn's got a tough one. I don't think Alabama's got a tough one. They're 26-point favorites.
Well, I'd be a little concerned, though. The guy that at Louisville can sure coach. You know, we know he's been accused of a lot of other things, but he can sure coach.
Well, he coached at Arkansas and eat him for lunch when he was at Arkansas, so I'm not worried about that one.
Exactly.
They also lose their Heisman Trophy quarterback, Deshaun Jackson's no longer there. He's in the NFL.
Yeah, and really, when you got a guy taking 99% of the snaps last year and they're coming on with a new quarterback, you know, it's going to be tough for them.
It should be a great one weekend to open up. Of course, Auburn playing in Atlanta, and we were talking last week that, gosh, that place is going to be full of Auburn folks, wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I'd say 90% probably.
Yeah. I would think.
Yeah, I mean, did you go to the Alabama game when Washington played Alabama in the playoffs a couple of years ago? It was like 70-30, and that was for a playoff game.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if I look gaudy, I am gaudy this morning. I'm showing off this ring that they gave out. In fact, if we could come up close in a minute, Steve, I'd like to show off this ring. For the people that ordered tickets early, they get this gigantic ring. And heck, it fits me perfectly, Mike.
You got you a Sun Belt Championship ring?
Yeah, I got me a Sun Belt Championship ring that I'm wearing right here. Your mama told me not to wear it to Sunday school because it might get him, mess somebody up thinking I've got some kind of rare ring on, you know, because it is big, no question about it. Steve will come down here in a minute. Maybe we'll come up close and look at it. There's still a lot of these rings available to people that bought their tickets early. So if you weren't at the big Meet the Trojans Day on Saturday, there's still several of these rings still available to people that bought their tickets early. So go by the ticket office at Troy.
Where are you going? Are you going to Orlando to the Alabama game? Are you going to go to the beach, or are you going to go see Troy Boise State?
I'm going to Washington D.C. and see my new grandbaby, so I'm not going to be anywhere that weekend.
And of course,
what was the name? Did y'all come up with the name for the baby?
Yes, yeah, Emma Louise.
Emma is a family name, isn't it?
Emma Lou.
Yeah.
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 Emma Lou. Her name is Emma Lou.
Emma Lou. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My aunt was Emma Lou Renfro, and and I know you're excited, Will. I know you're excited.
My son and my daughter-in-law that weekend.
Yeah. Of course, you gonna do any?
My other daughter and her husband are coming that same weekend.
Oh, that'll be great. So is Elizabeth coming, or is she gonna stay there and practice law?
She came last weekend, so she's gonna be running the office.
Well, good. Well, good. Of course, Will, you seem to always have an upset this time of year. What do you think? Who jumps out at you?
I got to look at it. I would love to see Troy beat Boise. That would be huge.
I've got a good feeling about that game. I really do.
A lot of people are taking the money on that. Troy's a +10.
I think the quarterback at Troy and the running back are going to be a problem, and I don't know if they're going to be ready or not to go against a good defense.
Well, let me tell you this. I'm very confident in Troy's quarterback. I really am. Both of them. They're two outstanding young quarterbacks, and they've got the young man from Dale County. Looks like he's 100%. And I know this. He went about 70 yards during the scrimmage on Friday, and he looks good.
He's a great player.
Jamarius Henderson.
Yeah, Jamarius Henderson looked great Friday.
Well, I'd love to see Troy pull the upset. That would be a huge upset.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at the schedule yet, but usually most people play a gimme game the first game.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something, Will. It ain't no gimme game. Anybody that thinks Troy is a gimme game is crazy. Crazy.
Most people do play a gimme game.
Well, I will say this right now. They'd wear Louisville out right now. In fact, they'll wear a lot of folks out.
Troy plays Florida A&M the next week. He's talking about most teams would open up with a Florida A&M. Yeah.
Right. You're right.
Well, it's going to be a good one. I love Troy in this situation. I love Troy to win the game. I really do.
Alabama's issue, though, is the secondary, so that won't be an issue maybe against Louisville because they will have some pretty decent receivers. It's just how the new quarterback plays for Louisville.
And I would assume they're going to throw it.
I actually think there'll be a lot of points in that game.
Yeah. I think the over-under is like 55 or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. It hasn't come out yet. We usually have something we can look at, and I haven't seen any of the lines or anything like that yet.
Well, no, the lines are out. They've been out.
Well, I haven't seen them,
Auburn's 3 against Washington. Alabama's like 26 against Louisville. Troy's plus 10 against Boise.
Yeah. Of course, Alabama preseason ranked, as we talked about it earlier, they're preseason ranked number 1 in the coaches poll and the AP poll. So what do you think about that? That shouldn't bother Alabama. They're usually there every year.
I was thinking about one upset you might see the first week is Ole Miss against Texas Tech. You don't really know what Ole Miss has got, but Texas Tech is notorious for losing games they're supposed to win. So, I'm thinking that might be an upset.
Well, one thing about that, it'll probably be about 120 points in that game. Probably be like 60-60 or something.
Yeah, there'll be untold millions of points in that game. That's a game I'm probably thinking about. And I can't believe Auburn is favored against Washington. I guess the only reason they are is because it's in Atlanta.
And you look at it, Washington's preseason number 6 and Auburn's preseason number 10.
Right.
That's telling you. And in the other poll, they're in both polls, they're preseason number 6. Washington is, and the thing about it, very good football coach. But let me tell you, Auburn playing in the big what do they call that? The new facility over there now. What do they call it?
Used to be the Georgia
Dome. I reckon they call it the Georgia Dome again.
Yeah.
But
Mercedes-Benz, the Mercedes-Benz playing.
I mean, the crowd will be just like you said, unreal Auburn compared to Washington, because there's not that many Washington folks going to fly down here to see that game. But again, very well coached Washington team against Auburn. Auburn's looking for a running back, or at least more depth at running back, and evidently Stidham is as good a quarterback as there is in the country, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's a good one. Now, I heard Pat Dye on the radio yesterday, and he says that the Auburn running back that played a little bit last year is going to really be good this year. So he's keen on him, and of course, I think Stidham's the best quarterback in the conference.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and right now and tell you Auburn's going to blow them out. Auburn is going to blow Washington off the field.
I don't see that. Chris Peterson's way too good.
Well, hey, he can't play, Mike. He's a good example of a coach that can't play.
I'll tell you this, Peterson's a better coach than Malzahn.
Well, I don't know.
By far, by far.
Oh, my God. Have you ever looked at Peterson's record?
Well, I tell you what. All right, you put your house on Washington, and I'll put my house on Auburn. What do you think?
Well, I mean,
you might lose your house.
I'm just saying, for him to have that much time to prepare, you know, Auburn got beat by 2 touchdowns by Central Florida last Sunday.
What's going to happen, and all these wise boys out there are saying, yeah, you're right, Mike, yeah, you're right. Auburn's going to stuff them. They're going to stuff them. S-T-U-F-F, stuff. Auburn's defense is going to shut them down.
The other day with Boise, they're not getting their players out of Washington State. They're getting all their players out of California.
Well, hey, let me just tell you this. I'll take a Georgia boy and an Alabama boy and a Florida boy any day over what they've got to pick from. What do you think about that, Will? If you were recruiting, where would you like to recruit?
I think the best football players in the country come from Florida and Texas. But Michael's right. Washington has got a good football team, and the coach, I think, is far superior than Gus Malzahn.
Oh, God.
Hey, I guarantee you he's got at least 10 guys from Samoa.
Malzahn beat Alabama last year, Will. Gosh, what more did he got to do?
He beat Jalen Hurts, though. He didn't beat the right quarterback.
Oh, he did?
The best quarterback was sitting on the sidelines the whole game.
Okay. Why didn't he play in that game? Did that surprise you?
I mean, he was loyal way too long. It's obvious.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to play 2 quarterbacks in Alabama, or what do you think they're going to do, Will?
They're going to play both of them, yeah.
I think they will too. You don't sit a guy like Hurts on the bench. You don't do that, I don't think.
Alabama will be favored over 10 points in every single game this year.
Yeah. I'll tell you where they're going to use Hurt. They're going to use him in the inside the 20. They'll bring him in there. Wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you rather have the running quarterback in there?
But then when he's in there, everybody knows he's going to run. He won't throw.
Well, so far in his career, that's all he's had to do was just run.
I would put him in there inside the 10-yard line, not the 20.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, it's going to be interesting. Will, have you seen our magazine yet? Phil Steele yet? Have you seen it?
It's in Birmingham. I saw it the other day.
I'm going to tell you, it is late coming out. I have yet to see Phil Steele. If anybody knows where Phil Steele is in our audience.
The other day, all you had to do was drive to the Publix, literally 200 yards up the hill. You would have had a Phil Steele.
I wish I would have had it because I really don't trust any of these other guys other than Phil Steele. What do you think, Will?
He's very good. I like Lindy's. I like to read.
Lindy's compared with Phil Steele.
Yeah, I like Lindy's.
Hey, Lindy's came out back in June.
Hey, Will, I didn't get
Lindy Davis.
What now?
Lindy Davis and I grew up together.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to you after watching Tiger in the British Open and the PGA. Don't you think he'll probably win a major now?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's really.
Back.
He's back, yeah. I think he's real.
I would not bet against him. I would not bet against him at Augusta next year.
I mean, I think he's going to win one of these playoff events before it's all said and done.
Well,
no question. He's back. I mean, it's just a matter of getting. He's got to get his first day. The first day he plays too conservative, and then he opens up. He needs to open up from the start and go on play.
No question about it. I want to mention Bill Jackson Chevrolet on the bypass right here in Troy. A great place to buy a Chevrolet car truck. Will, you've been a General Motors guy all your life, haven't you?
Yep. I guess Cadillac's General Motors.
Was your daddy a big General Motors guy?
No, yeah, he didn't buy anything foreign, no.
Of course, Will Matthews from the Matthews Law Firm is on the air, and of course, Will, what do you think out of all the teams that are ranked? And of course, as we mentioned, both the polls are out now. Who do you think's got a chance to knock Alabama off this year as a national champion? Clemson, Georgia.
Clemson definitely. Ohio State, if they keep their coach. I like them. A lot of people are on Michigan State this year, which I don't understand. But, I don't think the Big Ten, other than Ohio State, I don't think they've got the speed to play with Alabama. And as far as another team, who knows? A lot of people are saying Miami's good. I think Georgia's very good, and I think they're going to be back again. I think it's going to be a Bama-Georgia SEC championship game, and I think both of them will make the playoffs again. No question.
You know, I was looking at Central Florida. You know what? They're going to go on a run, I'm thinking, where they win, say, something like 20 in a row. What do you think? Have y'all looked at their schedule?
I have not.
At Central Florida, of course, they were 13-0 last year, and they got that great quarterback who a lot of people think is the best quarterback in the country. What do you think about that, Mike? They could go on a real run, couldn't they?
Well, I mean, they lost their coach. I mean, Josh Heupel, who used to play quarterback at Oklahoma, is now their head coach. I mean, they got a great quarterback back and several good players, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I know that's something out of how can you?
I think they open the season the next week against Florida Atlantic and Lane Kiffin, so that should be a pretty good game.
Yeah, exactly. No question about it. It should. And of course, Troy opens up with the 22nd ranked team in the country in Boise State, so that should be quite a good one. And of course, Auburn has to go. Well, it has to go. They play in Atlanta, which is just like a home field. Wouldn't you say, Will? When you say that's a tremendous advantage for Auburn there?
Yeah, Auburn ought to have 80 to 90% of the fans there, I would think.
And then, of course, Alabama plays in Orlando. And now I don't know about how many Alabama folks are going to go down for that. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's a big sellout.
Mike, you know how many Central Florida plays top 20 teams this year?
How many?
0.
That's what I'm saying is they're well, who do they open up with? Let's see how many they're going to win in a row.
Connecticut. They'll win them all. They don't play anybody.
All right, so that's what I was thinking about. That they'll have a big long winning streak.
Oh yeah, they don't play anybody. It's a joke.
And
they play Navy. Navy might be the only team that can play them.
Yeah, and of course where they play Navy, I don't know. They'll play them at home.
They play Navy in Central Florida. So
I got you. We're talking about Central Florida, of course, who went 13-0. Looks like they're going to run the table again because of they don't play anybody. Are you looking at their schedule?
They play at North Carolina week 3.
Yeah, that could happen. Who are some other teams they play, Mike?
They got to play at Memphis. Memphis is pretty good.
Yeah, but again, they have a real good football team, and it looks like they could run the
table. They're going to play Charlie Strong in South Florida.
They do play them. Yeah, that'll be a pretty good game, no question.
I mean, they got Florida Atlantic will be tough. They'll be tough to beat Kiffin.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully somebody will knock them off.
Then they got Pittsburgh coming. Pittsburgh's the ACC team.
Yeah, exactly right. No question about it. Tell us about Alabama's injury, Mike. This linebacker.
I mean, got Chris Allen that tore his ACL. Terrell Lewis already tore his ACL. And then Matt Womack, who was the starting tackle last year, broke his foot again, so he's out.
All right, so they've lost, what, 3 starters or what?
They've lost 2 starters and a second-string guy.
All right, 2 starters and a second-string guy. And, of course, none of that helps at all. Will, what do you think about Alabama? You think they'll run the table? What do you think?
No, yeah, they're going to be 12-0, and they'll go to Atlanta. And I think Georgia will be 12-0, and they'll go to Atlanta. And then whoever loses that game, I think, will still be in the playoffs.
Yeah. You look at Alabama's schedule and you look at Auburn's schedule. Auburn's got a lot tougher schedule than Alabama has. Don't you agree?
Well, they've got to play Washington. That's the only real difference.
I was looking at
Georgia. And they play Georgia, but they play Georgia every year,
Yeah. All right, let's look at Auburn's schedule. All right, they've got Washington, which we know is going to be tough. Then they got Alabama State. They better be aware of them. But then they go with LSU at home, Arkansas at home, Southern Miss at home. Then they've got at Mississippi State. They've got Tennessee at home, at Ole Miss. Then the week off. Then they play Texas A&M at home. Then at Georgia. Then they play Liberty, and then Alabama on the road. it's a tough schedule for Auburn. Now you look at Alabama, Will, and of course they got Louisville, then Arkansas State, then at Ole Miss, then they play Texas A&M at home, Louisiana at home, then they at Arkansas. We don't know. Nobody knows what Arkansas is going to do. What do you think?
I think they're going to lose about 8 or 9 games. I don't think they're going to be worth a flip.
Then they play Missouri at home. They're talking about Alabama. Then they're at Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's going to do much. Then they have an off week. Then they're at LSU, which is going to be a pretty tough game, I would think, at LSU. Mississippi State at home. Then they play Citadel. Then they play Auburn at home. So the 2 games Alabama looks like they're going to have to beat. They're going to have to beat LSU at LSU and then beat Auburn at Tuscaloosa. What do you think, Mike? I want to mention, of course, we were looking at Alabama. They have looks like their schedule's a lot more conducive into going undefeated as Auburn's, don't you think?
I just think they're going to be heavily favored in every game.
Exactly.
And they should win every game.
Yeah. And Auburn has a much tougher schedule. Let's just say this. Look at it again. Washington could beat them. LSU could beat them. Arkansas, I would say, could beat them. Southern Miss has got a pretty good team. Mississippi State's got at Mississippi State could beat them. Tennessee in Auburn. Anytime you play a team like that, it's a chance. Then they're at Ole Miss. Then A&M comes to town. Then at Georgia. Then Liberty. There were several teams that had the possibility of beating Auburn. I'm looking at 6 or 7 teams that could beat them. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
that could be quite a schedule. And then of course Georgia. Looking at Georgia. They're at South Carolina, then Middle Tennessee, at Missouri, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, at LSU could give them trouble. Florida at home, at Kentucky, then they play Auburn at Auburn, talking about Georgia. And no, excuse me, they play Auburn in Athens. Then they play UMass and then Georgia Tech. Georgia's got a shot. What do you think, Will?
I think definitely they've got a shot, and I think they're loaded again, and it's going to be, I think they're going to go all the way, 12-0.
And in fact, looking at the East division, Florida, I think Florida will be better. Don't you think Florida will be better?
They can't be any worse. Yeah,
well, they've got a good football coach, I think, now at Florida, and they've always had talent. Let's look at Florida. Charleston Southern win, Kentucky win, Colorado State win, at Tennessee. I think Florida probably goes to Tennessee and wins. At Mississippi State, that's going to be a toss-up there. Then they play LSU at home, then at Vanderbilt, then Georgia at home, which is good. Then Missouri at home, South Carolina at home, Idaho at home, and then they go to Florida State. I can see Florida going 10-2 or 9-3. What do you think?
Well, of course, they always play in Jacksonville. They just designated the home team,
Yeah.
so really that doesn't matter.
You went to that game last year, didn't you, Will?
I did, and it was a slaughter. Georgia pounded them.
Yeah. But did you like that atmosphere? Was the atmosphere pretty good?
Mike, it was 35-0 at the half, and the stadium was empty at halftime.
Oh, really?
Florida people left.
Yeah.
They left. Oh, yeah.
Now, what do outside of the SEC, you got to look at Florida State. I think they could be in trouble right off the bat against Virginia Tech. What do you think?
Well, they're a 7-point favorite, and they're at home, so I think they'll probably hold on and beat them. But you're right. They're a long way from being a great team.
Yeah. Of course, Clemson in the ACC looks real strong. So now and then a lot of people don't realize, but Clemson has a quarterback battle too. They've got a new quarterback coming in that was considered the #1 quarterback in the country last year to go against a quarterback. Is his name Francois or what?
Yeah, it doesn't matter who club quarterback is. Their defense is
Yeah.
really,
And of course,
really good.
well, a lot of people think their front four is the best in college football. In fact, some guys mentioned the other day that Clemson's front four will all be drafted in the first round. Does that sound right?
Yeah, they got a great front four.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break brought to you by the Withington Agency. Remember, you're in good hands with Allstate. See Perry Green at the Withington Group right here in Troy. We'll be right back.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. At the Meet the Trojans on Saturday, they gave out these rings that were for people that bought their season tickets early. And gosh, I thought it was just going to be something that you put on a desk. Well, gosh, look at this. That ring right there is a replica of the Sun Belt Conference Championship ring that Troy won last year. It's not the exact ring, but it's very similar to it. And look at that ring that they're giving away. And you folks that bought your tickets early, you can go by the athletic or the ticket office today and pick up your ring. And of course, they gave away several of them at Meet the Trojans on Saturday, and everybody that's seen them really like them. And I just so happened to wear the size 11 ring, and that's it right there. Is this beautiful ring, and you know, it's big and gaudy, but all these rings now are big and gaudy. There it is right there again, and I'm proud of it. And I just happen to wear have a size 11 ring size, so it worked out pretty good for me. But I want to mention also this past weekend, the drawdown. Yours truly went down to the last 5, and a good friend of mine was in on it, and he was not going to be able to be there, so he told Judy to just go ahead and pull the cards or pull the instead of splitting. He says go ahead and let me win this thing. And of course he didn't win and I didn't win either, but it was quite a to do this past weekend. The annual Troy University football night was held at the Trojan Arena, and there were 2 guys. One of them is my good friend Joey from Elba was one winner, and one of the players' fathers was the other winner of the $10,000 giveaway. But just wanted you to know, and I was unable to be there until late because I was at a retirement party not a retirement party, but an anniversary party for a good friend of mine. So I got there early, and they said, "Hey, you almost won. You almost won." So that's the story of my life. I almost won. Kenny Keith is new, of course, continues to be the head football coach at Providence Christian. Kenny played on the 1980 Charles Henderson state championship team under J. Jeffcoat, and he's been at Providence for 18 years, which is phenomenal, and congratulations to him as Providence gets ready to put their football team on the field. A big coaching change at Houston Academy. Jamie Riggs, who is considered one of the top coaches in Alabama football history, Alabama high school football history, is now the new head football coach at Houston Academy. Jamie won 305 games in high school, most of those with T.R. Miller High School of Bruton, and he won something like 4 state championships. So one of the outstanding coaches in Alabama football history, high school football history. Jamie Riggs is now the new head coach at Houston Academy, so look out for them. They're going to be good. They are going to play a jamboree Friday at Zion Chapel, so good opportunity for Riggs to take a look at his team. But Jamie Riggs, very well known. Well, we won 305 times as a high school football coach in the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and as I said, that was third most ever for a high school coach. The veteran coach also will start over with a rated program in the midst of a 19-game losing streak. Well, I promise you, that won't be there long because Jamie Riggs will win, and he'll win right off the bat. So he's an outstanding coach. Want to also mention Justin Jones is the new head football coach, he's a head football coach at New Brockton. He's been there for a while and has done a great job. He is off to a good start as the head coach at New Brockton. Still, the current 28 wins since Jones took over in 2014 is the best 4-year stretch for New Brockton since the Gamecocks' glory years under Levy Boutwell. Levy Boutwell coached from that team from 85 to 89 and won 52 games over a 5-year period. But Jones is off and running, and his Gamecock team will be good, no question about it. And I know that everybody down in New Brockton and looking forward to a big year. I want to mention that Goshen football this coming season will be every Wednesday will be the Bart Snyder Show, a review of Goshen football starting at 6:30. Coach Brad McCoy's Charles Henderson playback show will be at 6 o'clock every Wednesday, along with Pike Liberal Arts Patriot football at 7 o'clock, and then the Elba Tigers football coaches show will be at 7:30 this every Wednesday in the fall. So that should be a lot of fun with these coaches coming in, and we're also trying to get a couple of more schools to come in and be a part of this coaches show review of their games each week right here on Troy Cable Channel 2. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Back to our show, brought to you by Goldfinger's Chicken, ladies and gentlemen. If you've not been by and tasted this delicious chicken, Goldfinger's, of course, right next to Publix on Publix Boulevard here in Troy. And, of course, TJ is an old friend of mine, a former Pike Liberal Arts football player, is the manager there at Goldfinger's. And they not only have great chicken, their hamburgers are out of sight. I was talking to some friends of mine. I was in there yesterday getting some chicken, and he was eating a hamburger, and boy, that was a good-looking hamburger. Their wings are outstanding, and, of course, with football season just around the corner, this would be a great place to buy your tailgate supplies. They have a large party nuggets. They've got medium party nuggets. They're all set up for tailgating. Just drop by there or call them and order your chicken for your tailgate parties from these great people at Goldfinger's. And, Mike, this is good chicken. What do you think?
Yeah, I've been to Goldfinger's a couple times. You know, my wife and I always, when we're driving down to Graton Beach to go down for the weekend or for whenever we're going down, we always love to pull into either Publix or Goldfinger's right there. They have a drive-through, which is great.
Yeah.
And just head on out to the beach from there with some food. It is a good place. I've enjoyed it.
No question. There are only 6 right now that all got started in Dothan. There's 6 Goldfingers out there with more to come, with locations on the Montgomery Highway in Dothan. Goldfingers also has a place on West Main Street in downtown Dothan. Goldfinger's Cottonwood Corners location on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Goldfinger's in Troy, just off Highway 231, as we mentioned, right there at Publix. And we appreciate TJ and that delicious Goldfinger's chicken. Try it if you haven't done so already. Mike, I was looking at some of these football schedules for this weekend. And I noticed that Enterprise will be playing at Dothan to start the season. That should be a pretty good football game. That's on Thursday night. I imagine it'll be a lot of.
Is this a jamboree or does it count?
I think it counts. Enterprise at Dothan, and then Barber County's at Notasulga. Alabama Independent School games on Thursday. You pits Abbeville Christian versus Northside, and Methodist at Ashford Academy. So, okay. I don't think.
So are we going to do a pick and show this week, or are we going to wait until next week?
We're going to probably wait till next week because it's not any real.
Well, did you get a Troy Fan Day? Man, that was an unbelievable turnout. I saw the pictures on Facebook and on TroyTrojan.com. There's a line.
It had to be well over 3,000. It was a huge meet the Trojans on Saturday.
Man, isn't that great for those players? I mean, I remember years ago there might have been 100 people going.
That's right. I tell you what, they're promoting that and doing a great job. And Gus, my good friend Gus, had hot dogs for everybody. It was wonderful, man. I'm telling you, especially those hot dogs. were so what I'm saying, the fans not only got to meet all the football players, they got to meet the cheerleaders and the volleyball players.
Volleyball, soccer. Did you have basketball as well, or just
no? Basketball wasn't there, but it was enough that it almost went all the way around the Trojan Arena. It was a perfect setting for it, and it went over very good. Like you said, well over 3,000 people walked through there and got autographs, and like you said, the players really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where for the community to come out, these young kids that grow up being, Troy fans. I know when I was a little kid, I idolized all those players.
Yeah, no question about it. And, that's what it's all about. I mean, these kids, they've been here a long time now, and yet to see, well, of course, with school in now, it makes it a lot better, but it's great. It really is to see all that fan support.
I can't imagine what the Trojan Walk will be like before Boise game. That'll probably be crazy.
Oh, it should be. And, of course, the Trojan Walk is always 2 hours and 15 minutes prior to kickoff. So the kickoff is at
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. So that means, 2 hours and 45 minutes? Would that be when the Trojan Walk would be? Let's see. 3:45.
So it'd be about 2:15.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be 2:45. Well, I would think would be when the.
You ready for the countdown to kickoff? We're 11 days, 10 hours, 1 minute, and 37 seconds away.
11 days.
10 hours.
10 hours.
And now 30 seconds away.
30 seconds away from Troy, Boise State, and I don't know. Somebody would ask me, where would Boise stay? I don't think they're going to stay in Montgomery. Maybe Dothan. Where do you think they'll stay? Do you know?
I don't know. I think they'd probably maybe try to fly into Montgomery and stay in Montgomery is what I would think. It's only 45
well, they could always fly into.
They got a really nice Hampton Inn out at East Chase and some other nice hotels out there. That'd be the perfect place to stay.
Well, I don't know if that's the case or not. I know they're not staying downtown where a lot of people stay for a Troy game.
They went flying to Dothan. They fly into Montgomery.
Well, Dothan is a major airport, though, Mike. You can fly into Dothan. Troy, for years, used to fly out of Dothan. With their team.
I guess it just depends. If Boise's big enough to have their own charter. Alabama has their own charter.
I don't think Boise does.
I don't know.
I wouldn't think they did, but they could also go fly into Columbus, Georgia. You never can tell. But somebody that knows that, I would love to hear from them.
Anybody that has Troy opponents over the years where they usually stay, I guess could tell you. I would imagine Montgomery.
Yeah. Mike, looking at the Braves, and we were.
They broke a losing streak last night. They won 1-0 against Pittsburgh.
So they're still a half game up over Philadelphia in the East, and they've played already about 135 games. So that means they got 30 more games, around 30 more games left.
Yeah, I'd have to look and see how many they played, but yeah, it's probably about 40 games left, I thought, but maybe it's less than that.
Exactly, and of course the Braves are back in town on the 28th and 29th. And Mike, this week is Meet the Trojans at the ballpark in Montgomery. The Trojans, it's Troy University Day at the Biscuits game.
Okay.
And that'll be coming up this weekend, I believe. I want to say Thursday. I want to say this is going to happen on Thursday, where they recognize Troy University as the main sponsor for the Biscuits game. So that's something we'll talk about more on Wednesday at some of the
Braves are 69-55, so they'll have basically. Let's see, that would be.
They played 126 games. Math,
31. They played 124 games.
That's right.
So that means they'll have 162 games in the season. So they've got 38 games more to play.
Philadelphia is a game behind Atlanta in the East. Then you've got Washington seven games out. Chicago in the Central 3.5 over Milwaukee, but St. Louis, as always, is just 4 games back. I'm looking at St. Louis if they're playing at home on the 14th, Mike. Do you know anything about that? 13th or 14th?
I can check and look at their schedule.
Yeah, okay. Because I might drop by there on my way to Nebraska.
When Troy opened up a few years ago in Atlanta, a buddy of mine, Philip Grice, and I, we were heading to see Troy-Clemson game to open the season. We stayed in Atlanta that night and went to the Braves game.
Yeah.
Actually, that was fun.
I saw Philip at Meet the Trojans the other day, and good to see him.
Yeah, he's a diehard Troy fan. There's no
question about
I haven't
it.
seen Philip in a while, but nobody loves Troy as much as Philip does.
I know that Arizona is a half game out over Colorado. We're looking at Major League Baseball. The Los Angeles is 2 games back, so that West Division of the National League is pretty tied up right there. Want to mention in the American League, Boston is 9.5 up over the Yankees, and the Yankees have a pretty good team. They're winning 60.629% of the games, but Boston is loaded, Mike. 88-37. That is something, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that is. So when is the Nebraska game?
That can't be. Let's see. Nebraska game is on the 15th.
Okay, you could go to St. Louis and watch St. Louis play the Los Angeles Dodgers.
All right, they're playing. St. Louis is playing the Dodgers.
They're playing the Dodgers, yeah.
On Thursday night.
They're playing the Dodgers on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay, what time do they play them? Do you know?
On Thursday they play at 7:15.
All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to that game. I think I'm going to go see the Cardinals and the Dodgers play.
That's 2 great teams.
That's right.
St. Louis and the Dodgers.
That's right, and it should be a lot of fun. Boston, though, it just their record is, this can't be true. Is it 88-37? That's got to be a misprint, isn't it?
I'd have to look. I wouldn't think it'd be that.
Yeah.
They haven't played that many games yet.
I don't think so either. I think it's a mistake there somehow. But they're 9.5 games up over New York. In the Central Division, Cleveland is 12 up over Minnesota. And
my God, you're right. 88-38. That's incredible. They're 50 games over. How in the world we missed that?
I know it, but gosh.
We don't talk enough about Major League Baseball. That's one of the best records I've ever seen.
I think it is too. But Mike, is that?
They're 88-38. The Yankees are 78-46, and they're second. That's amazing. They're 32 games.
This might be one of the great teams of all time, Mike. Boston is 88-37.
I know the Mariners won like 111, 112 games. Probably 8 or 9 years ago. I don't know what the record is.
Houston is 1 game up over Oakland in the West, and Seattle is 4.5 back. So that'll give you a little rundown of Major League Baseball. And you folks wanting to see Atlanta before the season's over, it's a pretty good opportunity to do that. Mike, we got a big game at Crenshaw this Friday night. Pike Liberal Arts travels to Crenshaw to play the Guru and his football team, Mike.
They're playing Wayne Grant.
Wayne Grant gets his start at Crenshaw Christian Academy, going up against their rival, the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots. That is a 7 o'clock kickoff from Luverne. This coming up on Friday. Glenwood plays at Lakeside School this weekend. Other games in the Alabama Independent Schools, Pitt's Fort Dale at Lee Scott, Hooper's at Macon East. This is Friday night. Morgan Academy playing at South Choctaw. Morgan Academy, playing at Edgewood, and that's a few of the games in our area.
Here's the record for most wins in the Major League Baseball season. The Seattle Mariners won 116 games in 2001, and then the second best
Cleveland Indians.
The second best is in 1998. The New York Yankees won 114. The most wins ever in a 152-game season was the 1906 Chicago Cubs, won 116 and lost 36. And then the Cleveland Indians won 111 games and 154 games played in 1954.
That's right. In 54, they played the Giants for the World Series and lost to the Giants. I saw that team play an exhibition game against the New York Giants. Mr. L.J. Ledbetter took me and a bunch of the boys in the neighborhood up there. I'll always remember that. I saw the great, of course, I saw a young Willie Mays playing center field, and I saw a young, an older Bob Feller pitch on the mound for Cleveland. It was really quite an experience, but great opportunity to see the Braves, and we'll be keeping you up on that because
especially seeing them when they're leading the East and got a chance to make the playoffs. They haven't made the playoffs in a while.
No question about it. Tell me about this young man that had that streak going, and then the first thing that happens to him, he gets thrown at and gets hit in the head. Is that right?
Well, he got hit in the elbow. That Ronald Acuna Jr.
So I mean, is that terrible as far as sportsmanship goes?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about it in Major League Baseball because just the fact that if it would have hit him in the head, he could have been out for months. Maybe change.
We're talking about the young man for the Braves that was trying to break a record for most consecutive leadoff home runs. Is that right?
Home runs, yeah. He was he'd hit 3 in a row, and the record was by Brady Anderson, played for Baltimore Orioles. But he'd also hit 5 home runs in 5 straight games as well. But he hadn't missed any games, but hadn't hit a home run since. So.
But probably the worst. And do you know the pitcher that threw the ball?
Yeah, his name is Arena. He threw the fastball 98 miles an hour is what they clocked it at.
And he threw it right at this young man, and could have ended his career.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Surely they find this guy. Did they find him or suspend him?
Yeah, they suspended him 6 games.
They suspended the pitcher 6 games, but
what good is that? A Major League Baseball pitcher pitches every 5 days.
I know it.
What good does that do?
No question about it.
I'd be interested to get Brian Meadows on the phone because Brian, of course, he's Troy, Alabama's only major leaguer that I've ever known of. Of course, we had Willie Wright's brother Wesley out of Goshen, who was in the major leagues and just retired a couple of years ago. But Brian told me point blank, Brian had so much great control. He told me, and I'm almost positive, without asking Brian for sure, but he told me that he could have hit a guy anytime he wanted to. That's what kind of control he had.
Yeah.
He said if it was a guy hit a
and he threw it at 88, 90 miles an hour too, didn't he?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying if a guy hit one of their guys and the coach or the manager told him to hit a guy, he could hit him no problem. He said that's just part of baseball.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it was one of the worst things I've seen lately coming out of baseball.
Well, the sad thing was Madley, the manager had the record for consecutive games and home runs too at 8. So I mean, you don't think that Madley would do something like that, but you never know.
Madley was the coach on the other team, is that right?
Yeah,
he's the one that ordered the player to throw at him. Is that right?
They claim that it was the pitchers. That the pitcher did it on his own, and they didn't tell him to do it. So I don't know.
Exactly right.
Who knows what to believe? The Marlins are owned by Derek Jeter now. He owns the Marlins.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, boy, that's something. I want to mention my good buddy Tony Peacock now is the owner of Pike Tree Service in Troy, LLC, and located on County Road.
I'll tell you what, he needs to come up to Birmingham. I got about 20 trees leaning.
Well, I tell you what, it's important to get those trees that are leaning, to get them down and get them replaced. And let's just say Tony takes over for my good buddy Mike, and there's no question in my mind that he knows a lot about how to cut down a tree and get it off your property and make it look like it's never been there before. And that's at Pike County Tree Service. Call him today at 372-0167, 372-0167, and ask to speak to Tony Peacock at Pike Tree Service right here in Troy. And of course, as we mentioned, Goldfinger's Chicken, you're looking for a delicious lunch or dinner tonight, try Goldfinger's out, and also getting ready for the.
Goldfinger's has a really good dipping sauce too, and then they got cheese sticks and sandwiches. They got a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, their hamburgers are out of sight. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he said, "Man, try their hamburgers." And I saw a man eating a hamburger yesterday. It looked pretty good. And of course, we appreciate.
Yeah, that's a great location. That's really close to the university. You and the kids want to get a quick bite, that'd be a good place to go.
No question about it. Of course, Alabama. The headlines: Alabama leads in both AP top 25 and also in the coaches poll. So again, same old, same old. Alabama, though, Mike. We were looking at going down the schedules. Auburn's schedule is a lot tougher than Alabama's.
Well, I mean, it's just simple. I mean, all you got to do is look at they got to travel to Georgia and they got to travel to Tuscaloosa.
That's right. And then they've got LSU coming to their
go
place.
To Mississippi State, and God knows, I hope to goodness that they're as good as people think Mississippi State are going to be with this new coach Moorhead. For a first-year coach, they sure are getting a lot of hype.
Well, they open up against Stephen F. Austin, then they play at Kansas State, which is going to be tough right there.
What's Stephen F. Austin's nickname?
I don't know, but their
colors.
colors.
That's played them for years. Is it the Lumberjacks?
Oh yeah, Lumberjacks. I remember them. They're a good program. Louisiana. They open up with Stephen F. Austin, then they go to Kansas State, play Louisiana Lafayette at Mississippi State, then at Kentucky.
So Reverend Lowry will be at that game. We'll have to get a report.
That's right. No question
Lowry
about
outside the stadium.
That's right. Of course, his grandson, who is from when played high school ball at Montgomery Academy. And of course, this is Wiley's nephew, is the starting right guard or left guard for the Kansas State Wildcats. He's 6'6" and weighs 325, so pretty big kid.
Of course, he plays for the old man. Coach Snyder is about 78 years old.
Yeah, no question about it. But I was looking at Mississippi State. They should beat Kentucky. Then they play Florida. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and call this. Florida's gonna be a lot better than people think, Mike. Florida might win the East.
No, they're not gonna beat Georgia.
I think they're gonna be much better though under the new coach.
I mean, Dan Mullen's a great coach. If anybody doesn't think what he did at Mississippi State is incredible, I mean, his record there was amazing. He had Mississippi State, people don't realize, 3 or 4 years ago, at #1 for 5 weeks. Until, of course, they got beat by Alabama and Tuscaloosa. Well, that was not even 3 years ago. That's Dak Prescott, so that's probably about maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
I tell you, looking at Mississippi State's record, schedule.
Mississippi State's got some real big physical defensive linemen and got their quarterback back, Fitzgerald, who had the horrible injury against Ole Miss, but,
Do they expect him to be 100%? Do you think they'll be
he's
ready?
100% back, they said.
Well, look at this right here. Ole Miss, not Ole Miss, but Mississippi State has Florida, Auburn, LSU, and Texas A&M in a row. Then they play Louisiana Tech. Then they've got Alabama, Arkansas, and Ole Miss. So their schedule is not very conducive to having a very good year.
Yeah, Coach Moorhead used to be the head coach at Fordham, and then, of course, he's been offense coordinator under Franklin at Penn State. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. That was a really interesting hire. I don't know where the relationship was with the athletic director or if he was a name that people...
This guy's supposed to be an offensive guru. This guy, he was at Penn State. When you talk
about the hottest coaches in the country, the top 5 coaches out there right now, you got Norvell at Memphis, you got Kiffin at Florida Atlantic, you got Neil Brown at Troy, you got Hartson, the coach at Boise, and then there's probably one more out there that's like one of the hotter names in college football coaching right now. But, Moorhead came out of nowhere. The guy at Arkansas State's pretty good, the Blake Anderson guy.
Oh, yeah, he is. And of course, Neil Brown starting his...
Other young coaches. I'm trying to think, is there any more young coaches in non-Power 5 that's pretty good?
I'm trying to think. Young coaches out there. There's not that many out there, Mike. Young coaches.
Yeah.
But Brown definitely from Troy is one of the top young coaches in America, no question about it. As we look at the at the success he's had in the last. Well, what is his record? And let's see, he's 21-5 over the last 2 years.
Yeah, so I mean,
which is very good.
Say Troy just went 8-4 this year, 9-3. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's going to go 30-8 in 3 years. Any athletic director, president, I mean, would be jumping up and down to get a guy like that.
Mike, I was looking at some more high school schedules. Dale County's playing at Arrington. That's a tough start for Arrington against Dale County, Mike.
Yeah, Coach Dunn, Coach Kilcrease, I'm sure will be ready for that. They got a lot of guys coming back. And,
but Dale County's got all those.
They got a new coach. I think they still got the Henderson twins, don't they?
Yeah, a bunch of the Henderson kids. I think they were twin brothers that are coming up behind him. Headland's at Strawn, New Brockton's at Providence. Ought to be a good opener there. Geneva County at Sampson.
Coached by Kenny Keith. He coached Charles Henderson. He's still the head coach down there.
That's right, and he's done a good job, and congratulations to him. New Brockton's at Providence against Kenny Keith, and then Geneva County's at Sampson. Those are just some of the games that will be played this weekend, I think, that are considered regular season games. Hooper's at Lakeside. Kinston is playing at Zion Chapel. Big game here. This is a 6 p.m. game. No, excuse me. That's not football. That's something else. But in football,
probably volleyball.
Yeah, in football, that's just some of the games that we're looking at right here. I want to mention, as we mentioned, Fort Dale's at Lee Scott, which is a tough opener for them.
Yeah, Lee Scott. I tell you what, I was still just blown away by their facilities. It's incredible how nice that school is.
Yeah, no question about it. And then a couple of games, a lot of people are interested in this. Jacksonville State plays at Crampton Bowl on Saturday night against North Carolina AT&T. Not AT&T. That's the phone service. A&T. What now?
You said AT&T. That's
okay. A&T, whatever you call it. But Jacksonville State opens the opens the college schedule this this Saturday night from.
Yeah, they had a big thing last night. They had the horrible tornado that hit in the school, and the university just opened back up yesterday.
Really? Well, that's good. That things are back to normal.
They said there's over 300 kids that don't have places to live right now because of the dorms. So much damage.
Isn't that bad? Thank goodness the school was out when that tornado hit. Isn't that right?
Yeah, Randy Owens, probably the most famous Jacksonville State grad, and Group Alabama is having a big concert in a few weeks to raise money for tornado relief. All these country music stars from all over the country are going to be playing there.
Well, that's great. And, of course, Jacksonville getting a lot of exposure to their 1AA program against North Carolina AT&T. And, Mike, that team from North Carolina was the only undefeated college, other than Central Florida, was the only other undefeated team in the nation last year. But they're
when I saw that game, Johnny Williams, knows a lot about, football, a lot more about football than I do, and organizing big games and big events, and of course being the athletic director and being over the Camellia Bowl, and being over the preseason game in Montgomery and Crampton Bowl now. I questioned that at first, but that ought to be a pretty good ball game.
Yeah, no question about it. And of course, this is an ESPN production. Johnny Williams, of course, works for ESPN, and they're putting this game on. Last year was a big success, and they claim, Mike, that Jacksonville State has over 500 people in their band.
Wow.
Have you heard that? That was at this meeting.
I know they got the great dance team on that band as well, the Dance Southern.
Yeah, that's right. And, of course, it's still
good friend of my sister's, Ashlyn Falkenberg, here in Birmingham, was a dancing Southerner.
And, of course, Troy's going to put 340 on the field, so that's a pretty big band right there. And, of course, when I told somebody about that.
I'm really interested to see how UNA does their first year in Division I AA, too, so that's going to be interesting to follow.
No question about it. Also, another game that I thought would be interesting, Mike. Calhoun is at Pike Road, and that is an 11 a.m. game. It's a day game.
Is that Pike Road's first game ever? I've never heard of them having a football program.
I think so, and that is a game that will be played at 11 a.m. in the morning. So that's a little unusual.
I mean, you think back now, like I was just thinking about college football in general. You know, when Troy won the national championship in 1987, they were Division II. So back then, you had Troy Division II, you had UNA Division II, you had Jacksonville State Division II, you had West Alabama Division II. So now in 2018, South Alabama built a program, they're Division I. UAB built a program after that, they're Division I. Troy's Division I, Auburn's Division I, Alabama's Division I. That's 5 Division I programs.
That's right.
In a little state like Alabama, and then you have 1 AA programs. You got Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Jacksonville State, Stanford, and now UNA. Isn't that incredible?
Right. Yeah, you're right. No question about it.
I mean, in a little state like Alabama, I don't know how many people even live in Alabama. 7 million?
Yeah, not that many.
I mean, it's just crazy to think how much football is in the state of Alabama now. And
yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's hard to believe. Like West Alabama is the only Division II school left.
Yeah, isn't that something? No question about it.
That's funny counting your Division III schools. You got, you know, Faulkner. You got, you know, I guess NIA maybe it's Faulkner, but then you got Huntington Division III. You got Birmingham Southern Division III.
Alabama A&M.
No, I mean Alabama A&M is 1 AA.
Yeah. Tuskegee is, what are they?
Tuskegee's Division II.
Yeah. And of course, they're coached by the great one, Mike.
Yeah, Willie.
You look at records. I don't know if anybody can compare much with Willie Slater, the head coach at Tuskegee. I want to mention that Carroll of Ozark.
I met a guy the other day down at the beach, and he said his daughter was going to West Florida, and West Florida's went to the national championship game.
Started football, yeah.
Out of Pensacola. And they're going to make the move to 1 AA, and I guarantee you they'll be a powerhouse.
That's right. I no question about it. I want to mention also that Carroll of Ozark opens their season this weekend, Mike, at Booker T. Washington. So Coach McDonald.
Coach McDonald's done a great job.
He really has. And, of course, the Catholics at Tallahassee, Fairhopes at Wetumpka, Bowleys at Prattville. Just a few more games out there this weekend. Trinity's at American Christian. And so those are just a few of the games that are out there this weekend. And then the full slate of football starts the next weekend when Charles Henderson opens the season at Enterprise, Mike. Should be a good game there. That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, how Enterprise is this year. I know they were down last year, but Coach Faulkner is a really good coach, and I would imagine they had a young team last year, so I would imagine they'll be a lot better this year.
Enterprise is the only place I know, Mike, in high school football or anywhere else that if you don't have season tickets to the game, people will want to throw milk in your face. I mean, it is the most high school oriented town in Alabama. Is Enterprise, Alabama, and if you don't buy your season tickets to their games, the whole town looks down on you. They won't even do business with you.
I don't know, man. I live right through the woods next to Mountain Brook High School, and that's a pretty amazing fan base and support of a program as well. I mean, it's amazing that I can't even get through neighborhoods. There's so many cars parked up and down the street going to games.
Well, I am really disappointed to know that they're going to be on the road. I was hoping they were going to be at home and we could walk through the woods and see them play.
We might could drive through the woods, drive down the road, go see Vestavia play.
That's right, no question about it. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, high school football is here. College football is just around the corner, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're excited about it. Brought to you by Little Caesars. And also our good friends at Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama. Mike, I did something crazy.
Dixieland Dental's got to be the greatest sponsor in today in LA history.
Let me tell you how things can work when you're hard at sleep. I woke up this morning at 2 o'clock and went and showered and got ready to come into the show. And I kept saying to myself, it sure is awfully dark outside. Then I looked at my clock. It was 2 o'clock in the morning.
Man.
So I got in my recliner and I went back to sleep and almost was late getting here. But I was wondering when I was shaving this morning, I said, I really don't have any whiskers to shave because I shaved at 2 o'clock in the morning.
You don't even remember
Ladies and
that?
gentlemen, that's the way things work sometimes when you're
Tell you
sleeping.
what, our alarm clock is Millie Crow Amos. She wakes us up every morning about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Oh,
So I don't
I
have to
got
have
you.
an alarm clock
Well,
anymore.
that's great. And happy birthday to her this weekend. It was a lot of fun going to my granddaughter's birthday.
That was Mary Prater Amos.
Yeah, Mary Prater, you're exactly right.
Yeah, Mary Prater was going to school this morning and she wanted to wear her sunglasses, so I put her sunglasses on.
It's amazing. It is. It really is amazing. Grandchildren are wonderful, no question about it. Hope you enjoyed our show. We come back on again today at right here at 1:30, and of course we'll be here tomorrow with Coach Max Howell will be on our show tomorrow, and of course you need to call in and ask him questions. He's one of the top football analysts out there, and of course again, exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Football is with us. We'll be right. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for Today in LA.